What's up, Internet? Welcome to Once Over. I'm Kaylee, and today we're going to be giving the once over to 5 movies from 1979 that you probably missed.
Give it a good once over.
Giving us the once over.
Giving him the once over.
Give me a once over.
Down to give us the once over.
For a routine once over.
Once over.
Oh, just once over lightly.
This is a series that I really love doing, and I feel like I never have time for it anymore. I love talking about movies that I think are amazing from a certain year, but that sometimes get overlooked, so you might not have seen them. I would love to hear about which of these movies you actually have seen and what other movies I've missed from 1979 that you think I should be checking out. Usually when I do these videos, I don't have a huge rhyme or reason for why I am picking the year that I picked, but this year is actually a special one. A good friend of mine recently passed away, and he was born in 1979, so I thought that we would check out movies in the year that he was born to celebrate his life. Rest in peace, Yeti. You will be sorely missed by so very many people. The first movie that we're going to be talking about is Chilly Scenes of Winter.
Joan Micklin Silver's Chilly Scenes of Winter.
Now I'm no longer alone.
A comedy about people trying to connect in a disconnected world.
I don't think you're that great. As a matter of fact, there's quite a few things about you that I don't like.
Holy crap, do I love this movie. It is a rom-com. I know that might surprise you, but bear with me because I swear to God it's amazing. This movie was produced by Griffin Dunne and written and directed by Joan Micklin Silver. And I'll be the first to admit that I generally have a tendency to dislike female directors because they can sometimes fall into that category of doing too much telling and not enough showing. They get a little lost in the over-explaining, like I'm probably doing right now. But this movie does not fall into that category at all. In fact, I think that Joan Micklin Silver manages to capture male fragility in a way that is rarely seen on film.
The days go by, but Laura doesn't call. I go to work. I go to my mother's. I go home.
She can write male tenderness in a better way than most men can. John Hurt stars as a bored, overly in love guy who is desperately seeking connection. Unfortunately, the person that he loves is already married.
Charles loves Laura. Laura likes Charles.
I want to sleep with you.
Wait a minute.
Charles would marry Laura tomorrow.
Wait a minute.
But Laura's already married to a guy called Ox.
This movie has a non-linear storyline, and it is set largely in an A-frame house that becomes a character in and of itself. The fact that it's also in blustery Utah in the middle of the winter, that doesn't hurt either. It feels like sorrow, but funny. Without sounding too mushy, if you have ever been in love, felt like you found your human, the person that is yours.
What do you want? What do I want? I want to marry Laura. That's what I want. I thought everybody knew that.
The person that you can't live without.
I'd be willing just to date her. I'd even settle for living with her.
Then this movie is for you. You will both laugh and feel all the feels. I do just want to talk about Griffin Dunne for a second. He is an amazing fucking producer. Obviously, I think that most people are familiar with him for his acting in American Werewolf in London.
Ah! You're not real. Oh, don't be a putz, David.
But you probably already know that my favorite of his is absolutely After Hours.
They're all trying to kill me. I mean, I just want to meet a nice girl, and now I've got to die for it?
What do you want from me? What have I done?
And if you like the kind of feel, the vibe that's in After Hours, Chilly Scenes in Winter is very similar, even though it's totally different.
It's different. It's offbeat. And it's always on target.
You heard me. I love your wife. You show very good taste.
It's about temptation.
It has that same kind of like dread build-up, but this time it's like love build-up.
Lord have mercy on your soul.
Thank you.
Contemplation. Adoration. And accusation.
Are you seeing someone else?
What?
Next up, we have something that fits into more of my standard movie watching stuff. It's not a rom-com. It's hardcore.
George C. Scott. Hardcore.
Why is Paul Schrader so fucking great? Shortly after writing Taxi Driver, he went on to write and direct Hardcore. His movies are generally about people who have values that conflict with the societal norm. In this film, we follow a conservative Midwestern businessman who gets sucked into the underbelly of the pornography world while he's searching for his runaway teenage daughter. It is grim and raw as we sink into the depravity of 8mm porn, S&M clubs, and even a snuff film. It's the clash of the profane and the sacred, the crossroads between vile and beauty. Schrader is basically turning the Madonna horror complex into a movie with this one. I've seen a criticism that although the narrative hinges on the perspective of the daughter, that we never really get to hear from her point of view. She ran away into this world, but maybe she wants to be there. Although I think that that's an important question in real life, this is a movie. That isn't what this movie is about. This movie is about suffocating through sleaze and a father on a vigilante mission. And we all know that vigilantes are not always right, even if their heart is in the right place. So yes to sleaze is what I'm trying to say. I guess I'm also sort of saying that I don't care how the daughter feels. That feels a little icky. But that's not the point of this movie! And now we have something very different for this channel. That's right, no nudity, no profanity, no violence.
No drugs, no nudity, no cussing.
We're checking out a G-rated film, The Black Stallion.
Believe in the Black Stallion.
The biggest, the blackest, and the strongest, the most beautiful horse that ever was.
Francis Ford Coppola presents Walter Farley's timeless classic, whose time has come. The Black Stallion.
Directed by Carol Ballard, who actually also directed Never Cry Wolf. You can totally go check out my review of that. I will link it in the places where I link things. And presented by Francis Ford Coppola, this movie focuses on a young boy who becomes completely fascinated with a beautiful black Arabian stallion. He and the horse are both sailing on a ship, and unfortunately there is a shipwreck, so the two of them become stranded on an island together. I first fell in love with this movie as a kid because horses, I loved them. They were amazing. I read the book. I thought that this was just absolutely incredible. I was like, I'm gonna meet the Black Stallion. It's gonna be fucking great, you guys. I wasn't aboard enough ships for this to happen. But the fact that I loved it as a kid does not detract from how truly amazing it is. The first half of the movie is breathtaking. There's a fair amount of moments with low dialogue that literally fill your soul. There are also a couple of extremely long shots where we're not getting encumbered by what the director or the editor feels like we should be seeing. We're just seeing the interactions of the boy and the stallion. This is absolutely a show, not tell sort of movie. And we get to see these, again, such tender moments where the boy is like coaxing the stallion. It's about wildness and freedom.
And the dangers of an island wilderness.
You saved my life.
The second half of the film is more of a melodrama, but don't get lost with me because I promise it's still good. The boy and the stallion end up getting rescued and going home, where they meet Mickey Rooney.
They meet a forgotten man.
He'll be moving, he'll be making that rhythm. You just go on with him, see?
Who is a horse trainer. I could kind of do without him, I'm gonna be honest. He's perhaps a little too familiar to be playing this role. Despite the fact that the beginning of this film is where my emotions truly come out, the melodrama is woven beautifully and it's full of heart.
The Black Stallion, an unforgettable adventure, a motion picture of extraordinary beauty, a story that will make your heart race, your spirit soar. But most of all, it will make you believe in the Black Stallion.
I highly recommend this one. I don't recommend a lot of G-rated movies. I like horses. Back to the stuff that feels more familiar for this channel, we are going to be talking about Abel Ferrara's The Driller Killer.
There are those who kill violently.
You know about how to bitch, and how to eat, and how to shit, and how to bitch, but you don't know nothing about pain.
There are others who kill mentally.
I don't need it. Bitch!
But there is one death that goes beyond the human imagination.
Holy crap, do I love Abel Ferrara. I just love him, that's all. That's all. I first fell in love with Bad Lieutenant, and then after I saw that, I went to a film festival where both Driller Killer and Miss 45 were playing, and I was like, I get it. I fucking get it. Dude, Abel Ferrara, you destroy me somehow with your filth.
The Driller Killer is a horrifying story of a man torn between the woman he loves and the devil himself.
Reno?
I think that Driller Killer sometimes gets lost in his body of work, so even if you've heard of this one, you might not have actually watched it. Also, speaking of the movie that I really want to see of his that I've never seen is Go-Go Tales. Has anybody seen that? How do I find that? Where do I get that? This movie is about an angry artist. He is so angry, literally everything that happens ever annoys him.
I didn't do nothing to you. I'm clean.
What are you trying to do to me, man?
And he's slowly going insane because he can't pay his bills. Of course, by night, he is a psychotic drill-wielding killer. I love slashers. He largely kills homeless people because, you know, arting is hard, and so he's like stressed out from the day, so it's like a nice little stress release. That's what you do when you're stressed, right? It's not what I do when I'm stressed. This movie is gritty and sleazy and fucking gross. So I understand that it isn't for everyone, but honestly, it's so disgusting that you have to kind of be impressed by it.
The Driller Killer is coming.
I just want to give it like a little round of applause. I don't know. The Driller Killer is all about the vibe, and I fucking hate that word, but it's goddamn true. It's gross, and I love it.
Sweetie, you don't have to kiss to make babies or something, so I waited till I left, and when I walked up to him, I said, no, but you gotta...
It's vile. And lastly, we're going to be talking about Stalker. Directed by Andrei Tarkovsky, this movie is long. It's about 2 hours and 45 minutes and slow. It's also near impossible to review. It is the type of movie that becomes entirely unique for every single viewer. And because of that, I have a hard time describing why you should watch it if you haven't already, because you should be watching this movie. It's sort of a sci-fi film, it's sort of post-apocalyptic, but really the only way that I can describe this Russian film is by calling it magic. Stalker creates a philosophical fantasy within its universe of the Zone. The Zone is an area in which normal laws of physics don't exist, and the remnants of seemingly extraterrestrial life lie undisturbed amongst its ruins. The meaning of this film supersedes discussion, so I know that that makes it extremely hard for me to sell it to you if you have not seen this one. I also know that the length of it makes it very challenging for some people. But without any hyperbole, this is one of the greatest films of all time. I don't even know how to say any more about it other than you should just watch it and have a mind-boggling experience. Anyways, that was 5 movies from 1979 that I think you've probably missed. Tell me about how I'm wrong in the comments down below. Let me know what I should be checking out from 1979 that you think is super, super rad. I would love to hear it because I am excited to check out movies that I don't think everybody always gives all the attention to. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I can't wait for the next one. Bye.